Lying to you would be much preferred right now. I'm going to give you more bad news, but I want you to watch this because I need you to know what the possibilities are to the downside. Ethereum is looking really sick right now, although Bitcoin really doesn't look that bad. And this video is going to be more evidence to support the origin wave theory that altcoins are going to bleed while Bitcoin ranges between 30 and 60K potentially until deep into 2022. So let me show you this bad news. Let's get through it, and you need to be prepared for this. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm on the Ethereum daily chart. Look at the RSI and the waves of the EMA of the RSI. So this is an exponential moving average of the RSI itself. And I'm going to expand this just a little bit so you can compare this with price. So you had your highest high as price was up at 1340. You had a very massive rally, which took price much higher, but the RSI on this wave of daily EMA RSI was much lower. You had another wave up here, the RSI was even lower. Another wave up here, the RSI was much lower. This was the same thing that happened on Bitcoin before the Wyckoff drop. I'm telling you, it was the same thing. For example, watch this. I took off the RSI to have fewer distracting lines. I'm just looking at the EMA. It is printing 4 strikes of bearish divergence, which means something is likely going to play out on the higher time frames. Let's take a look at the 2-week chart, and I'm going to put the RSI back on. So this is the 2-week RSI. You essentially can interpret this as 1, 2, 3 strikes of 2-week bearish divergence, which this is a massive time frame. These divergences are going to play out very heavily, most likely. And if you take off the RSI itself and only look at the waves of the EMA, you can interpret this as wave 1, wave 2, which this got a higher high end price, and it could barely get squeaked into the bullish control zone. It's not good. In order to reset this bearish divergence RSI, which is the green line, it likely needs to touch this white line down here, which means extended periods of downside. It's even worse on the monthly chart, I'm telling you, because the daily had the 4 waves of bearish divergence. It's likely going to tick over into making higher timeframes reset, and the monthly is what's looking the worst of all. So let me show you this. Even though this news sucks, hit thumbs up because I'm one of the few people out here telling you this information so you can get your guard up. Give me a like, even though this sucks. Trust me, I want to dislike this shit too. What's going to help me out even more? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're taking this bad news. And I can't deliver time-sensitive information to you unless you hit that bell. Are you ready to look at this crappy monthly RSI bearish divergence? Follow me on Twitter at @𝘾𝙤𝙣𝙚𝙗, 𝘾𝙤𝙣𝙚𝙗. Turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly and live. Links to the Discord community in the description section. I'm going to flip to the monthly chart. I will put the RSI back on. Look at what we have. Lower highs while we have higher highs. 1, 2, 3 strikes. This is pretty severe, folks. This is pretty severe. And if you look at Ethereum price in terms of ascending origin line obstacles, this gray line that is bolded here, it seems to have been resistance. So while you have 3 strikes of bearish divergence on multiple timeframes, or 4 strikes of wave divergence or EMA divergence on the daily chart, and it couldn't get above this line that's been acting as a ascending line resistance, it looks like it's out of steam and it needs to regroup. To be honest with you, the most obvious place for the price to come down to slow in a slow bleed is somewhere around $1,400. That's it. Most of Ethereum's locked up and this and that, and it's burning and burnonomics. I get it. So let's look at other burnonomics lows that might come into play in the event that tokenomics really do affect the chart, which is possible. So let's dive in. You have an obvious horizontal here at 2776, another horizontal here, 2000, and another potential horizontal here at 1600. So you have the following 4 target levels in specific regard to horizontals, not considering origin lines. So you have essentially 4 hopes of downside support with these horizontals. Over what's happening in crypto right now, a lot of assets are moving with an ascending line as the resistance line. So let's dive into these origin lines. You might want to make note or pause this video and set these horizontals within your chart because they are definite targets, but I'm going to remove them now. Now I'm focusing on the origin lines, which are these ascending lines right here. What could easily happen is Ethereum could end up bleeding and moving slowly back on this origin line right here, which recently offered support, and it could essentially try to break out somewhere around midsummer of next year, something to that effect. And all of this would allow the 2-week and the monthly timeframes to mostly reset enough to get another push above the previous all-time high line set back in May. And you can see here that this would essentially be a squeeze play between an origin line and a all-time high horizontal where a massive triangle would be formed. However, that doesn't align with the origin wave theory. So what would? Maybe the next origin line down. Let's see what that would look like. I've made bold the next origin line down. That would more align with the origin wave theory if an ascending triangle were to form here. And you can see that the line that's bolded has had a heavy amount of interaction with price where it was used as resistance, then support, and then resistance once again. And the exact moment that Ethereum really had one of the biggest blast off during this whole bull run was the volume with which it took to get above the previous support and resistance line. The volume from this trade happened exactly at this origin line for a reason. It was not coincidence. So now let's see where this would take us. If Ethereum bled slowly down to this line, came up and essentially got trapped in here, this would take you more till September. This is September 1st. And that aligns with the origin wave theory that alts are simply going to bleed because layer 1s and layer 2s are way overvalued. Their market caps are too high, specific to the amount of money coming in, because the money coming in is drying up and this shit's going to bleed. I think it's going to be the most probable scenario. I hate to say this. I want to be rich tomorrow. I want to retire by the time I'm 40, and I don't have too many more years to go with that. But this is what the charts are saying. I don't like to deliver this news. This video right here will link you to my origin wave theory, so this will make more sense, and you can see how all of this makes sense within the context of Ethereum as well. If you're feeling down and you just need a little bit of hope, click this link right here. I tell you why Bitcoin is printing signs of a potential reversal. And if you're new to this channel and you have not subscribed, hit the circle right here. Don't be a freeloader. You need to subscribe and hit that bell. You just got timified worldwide.